No, I think we warmed up.
I'm warm.
I feel totally warm.
I'm warm.
Sometimes it takes 30 seconds. Sometimes it takes 10 minutes. But
No, I'm a chatter. So.
yeah. You're ready to rock and roll. So yeah, ready to go and kick it off. Let's do it. And welcome to the Pagey Train. Today I have in the studio with me Amelia Conway, actor, model, writer, director. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
We've had an interesting past. Normally I have people on the show and I've met them through the consumption of alcohol
Yes.
and getting lucid in different places. But we met online.
Yeah, well, that sounds kind of dodgy too.
Nothing nefarious, folks. So it was to do with media work.
No, we met very professionally because I saw you from a distance at Made in the West Festival in, I think it was 2019.
Okay, that was at Liverpool.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I didn't speak to you. I didn't dare approach.
Oh,
But then I think I reached out to you to do the Foley on my short film Lake
Yeah.
House, and then it was born from there.
yeah, that's right. And we've been instant friends.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we finally got to meet today in person.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was actually a fun project. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I was so nervous to show that to anyone, to be honest, because it was just a project that my husband and I were like, threw together using like my iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a bit of a hesitant, a reluctant actor.
Yeah.
But I think for just a little fun thing we put together, it actually turned out really cool, and I'm excited to actually finish it off and show it to people.
Yeah, and I was really happy to be a part of it. Because you had all of it together, but you had that 30 seconds that you couldn't because of that 30 seconds you can't show it to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And to repair it and blend that in, I just get such a buzz out of that. I really enjoy it.
And you did such a good job as well. Like, just to give context to people, it was like this outdoor scene and the wind was blowing, think like an iPhone camera, and like it's like
Yeah, that. You actually did a good job on that ADR there. Yeah.
Thank you. If you ever need me, I can come in.
If you ever need me to screw up your audio, I'll be here.
Anyway, and then so Ross fixed it all, and it sounds really good now. So
Yeah, well I got to, the part I enjoyed was adding in what you call non-diegetic sounds that don't make sound in real life, but in movies they have sound. My favourite one was the knife coming out of the of the chopping board.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that was a cake lifter and a fork. So I got a cake lifter and went ting. Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't like download the sound, like you made it here?
I built most of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
the
really cool.
Atmos I used a standard Atmos track, but the car sounds I think I even did my own car door.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I
I
didn't realize that. That's awesome.
There was about 100 sounds that I recorded for that 30
Oh my
seconds.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm even more impressed now. So yeah.
I did the footsteps as well. There's footsteps
Yep,
in there,
yep,
and the one that was another part I was really proud of was there was a part of the wind track that I had where the wind was blowing his hair.
Yeah.
And
and you made it kind of go with it a bit.
Yeah, because I was looking. It took me a while to find that, but I saw his hair was wisping, so I'm like, oh, where's a wispy sound? So I put a little.
What do you think? What do you think of John's acting career? Is he going places?
Yeah, he's got chops. He's certainly got the patience. Look, I've just entered the world of being a thespian myself.
Yes, I heard.
Yeah, I got to do my first major role, which was an absolute buzz. But now I have, because as a director, you have a lot of pressure on you, and you work with actors, and you approach these things in different ways with different actors for different products. Being on the other end of that, I've got so much. Like, already had respect for actors, but so much more respect now. Like, there's so much pressure on you.
So this is the kung fu thing you did?
Yeah. Operation Kung Flu.
Operation Kung Flu. That's right. And you had to do like a fight sequence, right?
Yeah. Full fight choreography. Big shout out to Maria Tran. So she came over to do an ADR job. So I had to do some recording for her. And she saw the weapons all in my studio here.
I can see here.
Yeah, we've got a few nunchucks and a few sais. And she's like, do you know how to use that? And I'm like, yeah, of course I do. And I showed her a few moves. And she's like, do you want to be in my movie? And I was like, oh, stop it. Get out. Come on. Thanks. Thank you. But, I appreciate the flattery. And she's like, no, I'm serious. I want you in my movie.
That's awesome.
So I said no straight away. But she kept hounding me and trying to convince me to do it, and I went and did it.
Do you actually know how to use them?
Yeah.
Stuff like probably. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. It's a really crazy story how I learned how to do that. I had a friend who was a bikie in Perth, and I was doing like dumbbells. I was like doing workouts, and he was a neighbour of mine, and he basically showed me. He goes, well, instead of doing the dumbbells, man, why don't you use these size because they're weighted? You can still do your workout and learn katas while you do it. So yeah, I was trained by a gypsy joker on how to do
That's really cool.
martial arts and katas.
That's like a good skill to have. I'd love to learn a few things. Like I'm doing we're doing it in May. The date hasn't been confirmed, but I'm doing with this like kind of action film with a couple of guys, and I get to like fire like a shotgun and stuff like that. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, okay. No, sorry, I just my producers just give me a note saying my headroom's too big, so I've got to.
Oh,
How's that?
A little bit more.
A little bit more. There we go.
how's mine?
You can go up a tiny bit.
Yeah. No, you'll be right. She'll be right.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
What if we just
Yeah,
oscillate?
you're good.
No,
during the whole thing?
so using weapons in this movie.
So they've got I get to fire like a shotgun, and then I think they've got I don't know, some kind of assault rifles or something I haven't seen yet. But anyway, the reason why I was mentioning is because they're also doing fight choreography as well, and like that's stuff I want to learn. So I'm my character doesn't actually do any fighting, just weapons. But I'm hoping I can just go along to like their rehearsal and just like be like, teach me some moves.
Yeah,
So,
I know a lot
yeah.
about weapon drills.
Maybe you can teach me a few moves.
Yeah, it's like I know this is going to sound terrible, but there are plenty of children soldiers in the world. It's not hard to do. You can, it's like driving. You can teach someone how to drive. You can teach someone how to do weapon drills.
What about swords? Do you know stuff with swords?
A little bit about swords.
Yeah, I'd like to learn that, or like bow and arrow. I'd like
Yeah,
to
I've,
learn.
I've just started in the bow and arrow.
Oh, wait, are you just at home, or do you go to like a?
No, to an
range?
archery club. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Where at?
St Mary's.
Okay.
So my father gave me some bows and compound bows. I'm like, what am I going to do with these? So I started testing it out, and it's actually quite fun.
Yeah. I remember. I mean, the last time I shot a bow and arrow was like school camp, so that's like a long time
Yeah,
ago.
same. That's the same to me.
Yeah. But I recently wrote a little short film or short scene, like an elf scene, kind of like Lord of the Rings style, and the characters in that, like one of them does need to fire an arrow, like AKA me. So I'm like, oh shit, I need to actually learn how to do that.
Yeah, and there is a lot. There's a lot of principles that are involved in it. It's not as simple as just pulling an arrow back. It's what you would refer to as like marksmanship skills. To steady your breathing, know your fall of shot, know your point of aim. They're very close to weapon marksmanship drills as well. But yeah, using shotguns, that's some of the funnest weapons I've ever fired is shotguns.
You fired a real one?
Yeah. I fired
nice.
shotguns. I've fired rockets. I've done all kinds of stuff like
Where
that.
did you do that in Australia? Or?
Oh, I was in the military.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
years and years ago, yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm actually trained in how to use these weapons
cool.
proficiently.
Okay, very
And
cool.
it's something that never leaves you. You just know how to do it all the time. But that's also really tied into doing katas. Like the way you fire a handgun is the same way that you would take a boxing fighting stance. Because
okay.
when you box, you don't stand with your feet together. You have a foot in front.
Spread your weight.
Yeah. So you find a center of gravity, and you take an aggressive stance. Actually, one of the first dates, the first date I took my wife on was to a handgun club. Yeah, because we met when I was in the military, and she's a hippie. She's a total hippie, and it was strange for her to be dating a man that had a job that had a violent aspect to it.
Yeah, right.
And what I tried to illustrate to her is not all about that. It's not like in the movies. The military is very different to that. There is that element for very few people. I was involved in logistics. We fed hungry kids and defended people while they voted. You do these services for people that can't defend themselves. That's really what it's about. And so I thought I'd get her acquainted with handguns so that she can understand me better.
Yeah.
And and she had an absolute ball. I took her to shoot a H&K 45, which is a really large handgun.
Yeah.
And a Black Hawk 44, which is an even more aggressive handgun.
Cool.
That was our first date. Our second date was I'm into astronomy. This is important. This is an important part of the story. Is that
Okay,
handgun
no,
story?
I'm in. I'm just sipping on my beer. I'm good.
She's on the drinks card on the Pagey train, of course. So I'm into astronomy, and I have a telescope, and I go and image planets and stars, and I photograph them now actually. To get a good image of Saturn or Jupiter, you need to leave the city. So I had this ute, and I put the telescope in the back, bottle of champagne.
That's
couple
super
of strawberries.
romantic.
But I didn't tell her any of this though. So I put her in the car and I'm driving out, and then she's realised we've driven out
In
to
the middle of nowhere. Oh,
So naturally, a lady would think
I'm
the
gonna
worst.
get murdered.
I'm going to get murdered.
Yeah, the huge.
And so there was she started like all the conversation in the car changed. Everything went quiet all of a sudden, and I felt the change in mood. And I thought, oh gosh, Ross, you've got to say something. I'm not going to kill you.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god.
And then when the words left my mouth, it's like, what can you do? It's already left your mouth. But it turned out okay.
She didn't die.
She didn't die. We got married,
She's
6
still
years
alive.
later.
Yeah, so it's good.
It's all worked out fine.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that moment because you don't know this bloke and you don't know this chick, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because in your mind, you're like, oh yeah, she's gonna love it. I'll make it a big surprise, and it's like in her mind, she's like, where the frick are we going? Like,
yeah, well, I'm thinking about it romantically. Like I'm thinking, showing a girl the rings of Saturn while drinking champagn.
yeah,
That's
that
pretty
amazing.
hot, right?
I
That's
love
awesome. That's a great thing to show because I was trying to show her my, academic side, if you like. I went to a handgun club. This is the business end.
Yeah, that's your sensitive side. The
Yeah.
other side's your work side.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
So I just wanted to give a contrast,
Yeah.
and so that she can understand me better. Because even though I was serving in the military, it doesn't mean I'm this Rambo-esque person. I am a person.
Yeah.
With different interests.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a tangent I did not expect to go
No,
on.
that's fine. I mean, I don't think my husband ever took me out into the middle of nowhere because I've been married for 7 years and we've been together for 10 years. But I'm just trying to remember. The only weird thing I can sort of remember off the top of my head was when he proposed. It was like we'd been in bloody like Paris like for like a week, and I'm like, come on, mate. Like, look, he's gonna do it any minute now. We're like under the Eiffel Tower. It's like picturesque. The lights are sparkling. It's just us. I'm like, any minute now, he's gonna go down. And then and then he's like, okay, well, should we go get some dinner? I'm just like, what the fuck? So anyway, it's like the second last day before we're meant to come back to Sydney, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess he's not going to propose on this trip. Like, oh well, because I kind of thought that he was. And then we were
because it's going that direction, right?
Yeah. And so anyway, we were in this like this beautiful park, like in like this pretty French town, and yeah, all of a sudden he starts going, oh, I just want you to know, like, I think you're really special, and I'm like, this is really weird. Like, what? Oh, and
so the penny starts dropping.
Yeah. So anyway, and then but the thing is, it was so cute. So he bent down and he goes, will you he said, will you be my wife? And he was so nervous he didn't do the open thing.
He forgot that part.
Yeah. And I'm like, baby, you gotta open it. And he's like, oh, like that. It was so cute. It was so
that
cute.
That is cute.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, and then so we said yes, and we kissed and we cried and stuff. But we were sort of in the middle of nowhere, like this French country town, and it was winter time, so it was freezing. So we just got engaged, and then we kiss and hug, and then I'm like, oh baby, I'm freezing, like can we just
go?
Can we just go? It was so cold.
My wife she said if you ever ask the question, just don't do it publicly.
Yeah.
So we were on a holiday with her entire family in Slovakia, and so we had a Christmas dinner. Her entire family was there, so I asked her there. So
you really listened to her, yeah.
But I've got to tell you, I never thought I'd be so nervous. Because that she's like, you're 99.99% sure that she's going to say yes.
Yeah, but there's still a little chance,
There's still that little chance. And I remember I was shaking like a leaf because everyone comes up and hugs you afterwards when you do it publicly like that. Everyone congratulates you and you go through and you had this nice, warm, lovely moment. And I remember hugging people like I was just shaking like a leaf. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I don't remember being that nervous ever.
I remember my husband saying, like on our wedding day, like, because the groom gets there first and he waits for the bride to arrive. I was like, what was that like? Like, what were you thinking? Like, and he's like, oh, I'm just glad that you turned up. Like, of course I'm going to turn up.
We both promised each other when we got married that we wouldn't cry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all right. And there was this one moment where we grabbed each other's hands, like, no, hold it together. But it's amazing. When people say that, it's the best day of your life. And I used to, when I was single or just engaged, I would say to people, well, you haven't hung out with me on a Saturday night, bro. Like, we have a good time.
That's the best day of your life.
That's the best day of your life. Come hang out with us, man. We will have fun. And what I realised though, the reason that it's the best day of my life is because it's a room full of love.
Yeah,
and
everyone's there.
and everyone there, and that there's a synthesis of love in the room.
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
can't duplicate it, you can't fake it. It's just something that is in all of our hearts, and all those hearts come together. And I just really remember that feeling of everybody.
I know. I can't even remember the last time I had that much family in one space. Like that was 7 years ago when I got married. Like since then, I've never had that many cousins, uncles, aunties, friends in one space. So.
Yeah, it's a good chance of reunion.
Yeah, yeah.
Big shout out to my uncle Anthony, if you're watching. He's now into Slivovitza because we were doing shots, and we're giving Misty's family gave shots to everyone. And they pour them shots, and we do the shots. But he can't do without them. He absolutely loves them. Yeah.
What is it? Like liquor? What is
we call it the pear of. I think it's the pear of sadness or the pear of despair.
Oh, okay.
So it's made out of pears, and it's a straight liquor. It looks like vodka.
Strong. Yeah.
It's like a schnapps.
Oh, okay.
It's like that.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started drinking it, like, wow. When you go to Eastern Europe, make a choice: drink the beer or the shots. Don't do
don't
both.
Mix.
Don't mix them, otherwise you're just going to be legless. But us Australians, we go over there like, got to have a beer, mate. Got to have a beer and a shot. I learned that lesson real quick. That was the worst hangover of my life.
Oh, God.
And that's saying something. I've had some epic hangovers. But you have a working relationship with your husband as well, as do I with my wife.
Yeah.
Did that sort of evolve when you met, or?
Yeah, like you mean working in terms of like with film and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I'm obviously the one who's more into it than him, but he definitely helps me out when I need him to. Like, for example, on my project at the moment, Roller Coaster Testers, he's been just jumping in everywhere, like, being sound, being runner, being, whatever, even like extra, like everything I need, he'll just jump in for it, which is like so amazing. So shout out to John for all your help. Thank you. But yeah, he's definitely a very creative person. He's always liked, he likes doing VFX and things like that, and logos and title sequences, and he's good at that. It's more just like because his daily job, it takes up so much of his time. It's just like trying to find the time for him to express his creativity. Yeah. So, but when he gets into it, he really gets into it. So.
Yeah, I have the same problem. People always say to me, like, how do you do all of it, Ross? Like, you're an insane person. You do a lot. But I do it incrementally. It's all done in stages. But I remember saying to Misty that, if you're going to be with me, you're also with my band. Like, my band doesn't go anywhere. Like, my band's always there.
Yeah, you're in a metal band, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
And that same sort of relationship happened as well with our film production company. Like, that's going nowhere as well. Like, they're friends that we work with, and it's all a friendly environment. Like, because when I've worked in TV, and you've probably known this as well, when you've worked on TV sets, sometimes it can be a bit caustic and a little bit toxic here and there, especially behind the scenes. But I love working in film because everyone's got the can-do attitude.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done that much in TV. Like, I've only really done sort of extra roles, but yeah, I definitely like this creative sort of group that we're all kind of tapped into. It's really nice just seeing people, like tapping into their imagination and their creativity and making a movie about, space aliens or robots or something, because when else are you going to get it when else do you get to do that, like
exactly,
that's the whole fun of it. Like,
it totally is. It's an addictive lifestyle.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah.
But you were in a film with a mutual acquaintance of ours, Andreas Tomas.
Yes.
Big shout out.
Yes.
I had him on the podcast last season, and he had his film Bad Influence. Have I got that right?
Yeah.
Or The Bad Influence.
It's now called A Bad Influence.
A Bad Influence.
Yeah, just so to differentiate it from films with similar names. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a feature film that you were in. Did you have a major role in that?
Yeah. So I was the lead female character. And yeah, it was really great of him to give me that opportunity, because that was like the first kind of, I guess, big role I ever got. And yeah, it was like I don't know what to say, like, because I saw the post on Star Now and I thought, oh wow, that looks really cool, like, so I prepared for it and I went in for the audition, and I don't know, I just felt like I really got the character, and I think Andreas saw that as well. And then the thing was that he was, I think at the time he had something going on in his family, so he didn't get to cast right away. So I didn't hear anything for like a month, and I was like, oh well, they've obviously cast it, like, whatever, too bad. And then one night I just got this random call from him going, oh hey, do you want to play Laura? And I'm just like, yes, of course I do. Like,
Yeah, you want me to be in your feature film as a lead actress?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
do.
He's such a sweet. He's so sweet, and he was almost like
He is a lovely guy.
expected me. I would say no, like who are you or something, and I'm just like, yeah, of course. So yeah, it's really nice.
He's an enigma, that guy. Because most people you work with, they go, well, I studied at Juilliard, and I got into the theatre, and then I started working in these sections and started doing film.
I was born into a film.
He's totally self-taught.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
He's amazing. He's an amazing director. I think he is going to be really on the scene real soon.
Well, that's why he inspired me to make my web series, because one of the things he did with this feature film to like keep his costs down was he purposely wrote it all to take place within the one environment. So that was at his this one house. So when I was writing my thing, I'm like, well, what's a place I could use where I could make the whole thing take place there? And so my dad's let me use his office to film. So I followed that same model that Andreas did, and yeah, it's been a lifesaver, like money wise and just logistics wise.
It's a great model.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it from a writing perspective, think of 12 people you know that you want to be in your film, or 12 characters that they're based on. Find one location and then develop a story that can fit into that environment.
Yeah.
It's a really smart idea to do it because like most of us are working on a shoestring budget, and and we do what we can to get the bills paid. And some commercial work is okay, but some of it, I don't want to digress because I don't want to shoot all my clients in the face. But some of you guys are real difficult. Just saying.
You especially.
Yeah, 3 revisions. That's it. Well, you would have noticed when I was in email conversation with you, I'm like, well, what's this? What's this? What's this?
Yeah, you were very clear, which was great.
Yeah, you got to be very clear.
Yeah.
Because some people have a misconception about how media is constructed.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think, and hopefully you feel the same, that I kind of understood what you wanted, but I totally know what you mean. They're like, can't you just make it like look good or like make them fly? Like, what? Like, what do you think? How do you think it works? I just press the fly button and then...
Yeah, you want me to I'll rotoscope that for you and do it frame by frame. That's going to take me 6 days at 10 hours. No, they can't fly. No.
I used to do, so rotoscoping, very similar to deep etching. I used to be a graphic designer before I got into acting. And one of the things I had to do was deep etch all these freaking photos on days on end. So I'm just like, no.
That is very meticulous work.
Yeah.
That is very meticulous when you're looking at graphics that way.
Oh my God, yeah.
When I do, because when I edit, I sort of lay back and I do my hotkeys with my left hand, and I've got the hand on the mouse, and I edit that way. When I do graphics, I do this like lean in. I lean in, and after a while, I realise that doing graphics gives me a bad back.
Yeah, because then you're like...
Yeah, because you're constantly doing there's more of a squint, and you're more rigid when
yes,
you're doing graphics.
Totally. Yeah, it's not like if you're like gaming or something, you can kind of relax back. You've got to, you're like, and I used to have to do like, I was editing like photos of like, like e-commerce stuff, like front, back side of pants or something.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and then like making sure there wasn't any like threads on the pants, or like changing the color of the pants if they didn't look quite right.
Yeah, full zoom ins and full
just
brushing
completely
out,
like,
yeah, it's tedious work.
Yeah.
I think it takes a certain personality to do it for forever.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I can do it.
I can do it, but I die inside.
I prefer not to.
I prefer not to. Yeah, please don't make us do it.
Yeah. I hire people that are more astute to those conditions. I'm a loud, rambunctious person that needs to explode into the world.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I'm meticulous in other ways. When it comes to writing, when I'm writing scripts, I won't be meticulous at the start, but when I'm at the doing final drafts, that's when I'm really tweaking it and being meticulous. But that's a different thing. That's a game that I'm playing in my mind.
And I think it's different too, because you're more like invested in it and means something to you. Like for me, it was just, hey Amelia, do these 200 images like in an hour. Like, what? Like, make sure the model doesn't look fat, clean up her acne, get it done now. Like, what? Like, like... Yeah.
I need more of that in my life. Clean up my acne and my fat. That's what I need.
Yeah, well, I can Photoshop you.
Yeah, slim me up. I was watching some of my videos from the Factory Theatre today. And I'm like, you put on some pounds there, Roscoe. You got to get back into doing some more sit-ups.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you used to do there at the Factory Theatre?
Oh, no, well, I performed there. with my band. So
Oh, nice. Yeah.
yeah, I was looking at the footage when we did our. I think it was it was a year before our EP release. So this would have been 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I've been more gym active since then. But before then, I saw this image of me. I'm like, oh, it's a bit of a tub you got there, Roscoe. I've pulled it in now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even looking at myself on film recently, I'm like, oh, there's a bit of. I've still got that veteran gut of sadness going on. Still got to pull that in.
No, I know. Like that's why for me, I love like yoga or even just walks. Like I really like gentle exercise because I've done my days of like running, like going to the gym and doing weights and the things. It's just not me. And honestly, I feel like I get such better, longer lasting results from doing things like yoga as opposed to like running and like really pushing myself. Like I don't know, my body's not. It doesn't like that.
A lot of people say that to me as well. Like because I go into beast mode when I go to the gym. I'll do like a heavy weight session, then a boxing session, then a swim
That's
session,
a lot.
and then I'll do it. Yeah, so I'll warm down on a kilometre swim. You know, that's my warm down.
Yeah, that would be like me struggling, like drowning.
Yeah. Well, I do underwater training as well. So I'll put some flippers on and then try and swim as far as I can underwater. And the furthest I've gotten is like 35 meters. So 35 meters. I'm trying to do the full length of the pool.
Yeah,
So full 50.
yeah.
But I do that because I go surfing with my father-in-law, who's an insane person. Big shout out, Neil.
Hey, Neil.
Yeah, he just gets onto the biggest monster waves that you've ever fucking seen. I'm used to surfing little 6-footers. He surfs like 4-meter waves.
Wow.
And
That's crazy.
once you drop in on them, you can't stop. You go, I can't not do that anymore. I have to do that forever.
I love the look of surfing, but I tried to do it once. My friend tried to teach me, and I just got so hopelessly dumped and just coming out of the water with like my nose dripping and everything. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna do this.
Yeah,
again.
when you get rolled,
it was awful.
when you get rolled by a 4-meter wave,
Oh, no,
you're
thank you.
you're under for a minute.
That's scary.
And it's all foam, it's chaos, and then once you get to the top again, there's another one to greet you. So you got to go do that. You know, in a set, if you get dumped on your first wave, there's another.
You're kind of screwed.
There's 3 of them coming after it. So
have you ever looked into much stuff about like holding your breath with free diving and stuff like that?
yeah, totally.
Yeah, I've always wanted to learn that.
The key with that, what I've learnt by doing underwater training, is to get further distance and it's all about panic. So when you're underwater and your body goes, want air, and then that
And you've gotta be
anxiety
like,
raises
chill.
And then, but they'll get to a point of that anxiety where we'll go, nope, now, and you have to surface, right?
Yeah.
So the way to combat that is actually breathing through your nose. So before you go underwater, feed your body by breathing deep breaths through your nose. And the science behind that is to do with your oxygen and nitrogen exchange in your lungs. So when you breathe through your nose, you process that you take in more nitrogen because it's got it. There's so many paths that the air has to go through. When you breathe through your mouth, it's just one path. When it goes through your nose, it's got to go through an S bend of your body that changes the air as it goes into you. So you take in more nitrogen, which allows you to do more oxygen exchange.
Yeah.
So you feed more oxygen into your blood. So that panic is further away. That's what I've found. If I do the mouth breathing technique where you go and do that,
I don't think that works as well.
you panic way quicker.
Yeah.
When you settle yourself and breathe through your nose and calm yourself and go into a bit of a zen, then you can push further.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get to the 3 panics. There's the first panic, I brush that off and go quick, keep swimming. Then the second panic shows up.
Yeah. Get
off!
Yeah.
And then the third one shows up like, no, I can't do it. Oh, I've got to surface. Surface. And yes. And the other thing is that you're using your oxygen by swimming as well. So you're pumping your muscles while not feeding oxygen. So I found that to be really helpful.
Did you watch that? What is it? My Octopus Teacher.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, it was cool, wasn't it?
That was really cool. I got really sad then when the octopus was getting hunted.
I know.
I'm like, don't kill him.
Save him.
And then, the octopus loses a limb in that fight.
I know. It was like intense.
And then
it starts to grow back.
And it grows back, and then it gets fed, and then he gets his strength back, or she. I can't remember what the sex of the octopus was.
I don't know.
But the octopus was like coming back to health. You're like, yeah, buddy, yes.
You can do it.
Yeah, I was shouting. I was shouting at the screen like a football match. I was like, come on!
And then because I think eventually in the end it did. pass away like naturally, didn't it? And then the guy was like, yeah, I miss him every day. And I was like, oh,
It's so sad.
like, I know he's like so connected to it.
But they had a really poignant message in there and about the connection of nature.
Yeah.
And I get that from surfing. When I'm surfing, you've got the Indian Ocean or the Pacific Ocean behind you, and you're just this little speck. And if you get in sync with it, you'll have the best time of your life. But if you get out of sync with it, it will be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So the thing that the ocean teaches me is that connection by feeling the waves, feeling the energy, and going with it.
Yeah.
Becoming synchronous, and knowing how to deal with chaos. Because sometimes a synchronous situation can be disrupted, and you have to be able to battle and be calm amongst the chaos. It's a very valuable lesson I've learned in life.
I think that it's a good lesson because it can bring you, to even back to something on set. If you're a director and something's going wrong, and you just have that state of mind to be able to go, no, I can see the bigger picture here. I'm just going to calm down. Or even as an actor, if you're getting panicked about something, just be like, no, calm down. It's all right. It's just a little scene. Like, you're not going for the Oscar. Like, just chill.
Yeah, just chill.
Like,
It's not battle stations. You'll be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I really like, like I said, I like doing yoga, and I really like to make sure I go outside. I go up to Centennial Park, and like, for me, that's my surfing. I just like to feel
where you reconnect.
outside. Yeah, it's my favorite place actually.
Yeah, I should take it up a lot. This is the 5th or 6th time this has been mentioned to me.
Yeah, right.
I do meditate sometimes.
Nice. Yeah, I love meditating.
Yeah, just to find, because I have a really chaotic brain. Like I'm always switching from one foot to the other.
Yeah.
Where I'm going from festival to director to being an editor, sound designer.
Yeah.
Constantly switching over these roles is chaotic on your brain. So
yeah, I'm the same. Like at the moment, I'm preparing for about 3 or 4 different films coming up, and so there's like 4 different people in my mind, and then like one of the directors will message me and be like, oh, have you got the outfit for this? Oh, hey, can you meet me for a rehearsal for this? Oh, hey, the script's changed for this. And so I'm just trying to be like, okay, that's for that's that. I'm just trying to, in my brain, like sort of separate these people.
Yeah, compartmentalize it.
Yeah. So, but I find meditation's really helped just with things like that. It doesn't mean my brain's not crazy. Trust me, it's still crazy. But I'm able to sort of step back, go, yeah, it's pretty crazy in there. All right.
Well, I found there's 2 points where it comes out to me. We were talking about it before in Sydney traffic. Like I get road rage.
Oh God, yeah.
I get road rage. I get terrible road rage. And sometimes it disrupts my calm. So when I'm trying to arrive somewhere, I've just been through hectic traffic, and then you've got to sort of dump that.
Totally.
And in that, I find that chaotic. And the other place is obviously behind a microphone screaming at a crowd. I just let...
do you... no, your metal...
Yeah, guttural vocals,
Yeah.
Letting loose is one of the most therapeutic things. But I prefer the metal over the road rage. But I know, because I can project, right? I can yell. Like I can make a lot of noise.
I believe you.
I can make a real lot of noise. So, and sometimes in road rage, I can, like through their glass, they've heard me.
What's your worst road rage story?
Oh, wow. I don't know. Where do I start? I think it's not so much my road rage. It's being cheeky with P-platers. I'm really cheeky with P-platers, right? So a P-plater will be, they always need to get ahead of you, right?
Oh, I know. It's so annoying.
They need to have the full advantage.
Just calm down.
Yeah, you don't need... We're going to end up at the light together anyway, bro. Like, all right. But I'll push them up 10, and then they'll go another 10. And if I know that there's a speed camera up, I'll keep pushing them and then back off and let them run through it.
Yeah, then they take it.
And you see it flash, right?
Yeah.
But the other one I do is when I know you go past a mobile speed camera and they've slowed down, I flash me lights. So they think they get the...
Oh, they think they've got the...
They think they've got a ticket.
Snapped.
So because then if you've just got a ticket, you go into calm mode, you're like, oh, I just got a ticket. So I try to calm a P-plater down by faking the fact that they've just got to fine. So
sometimes I'm
more of a passive-aggressive road rager.
Yeah, no, I am too. Like I'm pretty, because it used to really get to me, and it's something that I actually had to work on. Like now, believe it or not, I actually, no matter what the traffic is, I always find a way to enjoy where I am. I know that sounds like really like arty-farty, but I don't know, but I've worked on it. Anyway, but sometimes when like someone's really annoying me, like, you know, when those people that they just come right up behind you and they're like, dude, there's no one around, like just go around me, but they just, for some reason, they're like right on your tail.
Yeah, bully driving.
Yeah,
You're being a bit
yeah.
of a bully.
I just drive really slow, and I just slow down really, really slow, and then they get really mad, and they're like,
yeah.
and I'm just like, see ya.
I do the same thing. I think that comes with age, though. The more mature you get, the more you do that, I think.
Yeah.
But look, I used to be that P plater that needed to be ahead, so
Yeah,
I
me too,
get it.
me
I
too.
get it. But
I get it.
you know, but the traffic and I must say that I did enjoy COVID.
Oh, wasn't it nice?
It was
Oh,
great.
you just go on the road, like no one's there, and you can get anywhere you want in Sydney in like 20 minutes. It's like, what?
Yeah, it was like there was a day there where I thought I'd travelled in time 20 years back. I bought petrol for $1.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
And I got to Sydney in half an hour.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like 38 minutes,
Yeah,
door to door,
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
my workplace. I was like, wow.
it was so good.
Yeah, that was awesome. I don't think that will happen again ever this century.
know.
So that
We
was
experienced it though.
yeah. I got to know what it felt like in the
Yeah,
70s. I know what it
yeah.
felt like, cheap petrol and no traffic. But yeah, you've got some films coming up. So you have
Yeah.
been working on what was the one that you mentioned before? The roller coaster.
Yeah, so Roller Coaster Testers is my web series, which I've written and directed and also acted in. And we're about like, I would say 95% done. We've just got like 2 or 3 more days to film like a few pickups and things like that. And we got, because obviously it's called Roller Coaster Testers, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to film roller coasters? Like, where am I going to do that? And so my friend had the great idea to get accreditation at the Easter show. So we got permission to film there, and I went in just last week, and we got to film like the rides
Wow.
and everything, and so it was all like fair use. I'm allowed to use it. We didn't do any scenes there, but it'll be like really good stuff for like B-roll and like
Transitional stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, your segues,
exactly.
your segue shots.
Exactly.
That's great.
So I'm really happy.
That's
about
really
that.
smart. Good on you.
Yeah, I think it's just elevated the project, because I think everyone who's been part of it, like, I'm really happy with all my casting. Like, I think all the actors have just done such a great job of like taking their characters on, and they just, you know, everyone's volunteering their time. Everyone's put in so much time and effort, and I'm just so like thankful, because my concern was that they would, because the project's been going on for over a year. We've been filming when everyone's free, right? And my big concern is that someone's going to go, oh God, when will this project be
Yeah,
over?
I've had enough. I quit.
Get me out of this.
Yeah,
So,
or quit and they don't show up for the last scene.
exactly,
you know?
but no one's been like that. Everyone's been so committed, and it's just like, and I think, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I think they're really enjoying it, and I think they're really like happy to be a part of it. So that makes me feel really proud.
But that's a really
you know?
good fear to have, man. That's a
Yeah.
really good fear to have, because if you didn't feel that way, then you're just taking it all for granted.
Yeah.
To worry about where their emotions are at, and to know that that they're getting something out of it.
Yeah.
Because as the director and the writer, you're getting the product out of it. You get to launch it.
Yeah.
You're doing all the hard work in the background of the edit and the post-production, the pre-production, the production, and you get to get your licks as well by being on stage, or not on stage, but on set, and you get to have all that fun. But to know, I always make sure they get their show reel out of it.
Yes, yeah. So definitely they're going to get some great stuff for their show reel, because the way I wrote the series, there's not really any small characters. Like, every character has a lot of screen time. Everyone's going to get a good, you know, nice close up at their face of them saying a bunch of stuff. So that's a given. But then more than that, like, I really encourage them to like improvise, or, you know, I'm not like one of those writers who like, those are my lines, don't change it. Like, if they were like, hey, that doesn't make sense, or can I say this instead? And if I thought it,
Yeah, a bit
I'm
of
okay
creative
with it,
license. Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, of course. And yeah, and also like my shout out to my like crew. Like, we have a very small crew, Riley and Kieran, and sometimes Sinclair has helped out, and they've just been phenomenal, like being there every day I've needed them to help. So like, yeah, I can't thank them enough.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
it's great to have a good crew and to have that kind of fun and that loyalty and that dedication.
Yeah.
And that's why you worry. You go, well, they've worked so hard for me. Are they getting what? Do they feel okay?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's a really important emotion to have as a director.
Yeah.
I've worked with other directors that just do not feel that way.
Yeah.
Well,
We managed to. They were really excited. I got them to do like a cameo. They played some lawyers in a scene, and then they originally they weren't going to say anything, but then on the day they were like, "Oh, we've got this idea. We want to like banter about this." And I like thought about it, and I'm like, "Yeah, no, that'll work. Like, we'll put that in." So I think they really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a creative license guy. Like, I know that there's like checkpoints. I need checkpoints in the script because it needs to have its narrative arc.
Yes.
So I need you to say this, need you to say that, but hey,
whatever happens in between.
whatever happens in there, let's get a safe take. Let's do the safe take.
Yeah.
And let's do a take. Hey man, let it fly. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Love doing that.
Because sometimes better stuff comes from that.
Mm.
You know, like.
Well, the thing is, the actor generally knows their character really well.
Yeah.
You would have like perhaps the nuances and well, not just the nuances perhaps, but more the foundation of the character. But when they start researching the character, there's part of you that's in that character. You've referenced it somehow. There's a reference in there that you've brought from outside of yourself or from inside of yourself, or probably a little bit of both. And yeah, you get dedicated to it. But I remember, because I've only I've done one major role. And I had an idea in my head of what that role was to be, and the director's gone, "That's really good, but that's not what I want."
Was that for the Kung Fu?
Yeah, Kung Fu movie. So I had different voice because I'm a voice actor. We're how many minutes in? We don't know how many minutes in. But I do voiceovers. That's the limit of my acting.
Oh, right. So you wanted to come like with a whole sort of persona.
Yeah, I had a persona, and they said, "No, we just want you to do it this way." And I'm like, "Okay." So I did it less as a character.
Yeah.
And that's a valuable lesson I learned out of that is acting isn't always this like over the top need to be a character. It's a hybrid.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of things. There's anchors and that mixture can maneuver as the character develops and goes through different scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I really, taking that away and then going, I can't wait to direct my next piece because then I can direct better.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Like sometimes you like, oh, I'm playing the sad woman, so you sort of come with all these like preconceived ideas, like, oh, she's gonna be like this and sad and they're like, no, like not that much, like just chill. And often my experience with acting has been it always ends up being a lot easier than I think it's gonna be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I do.
Yeah.
I this was coined by a comedian. I can't remember their name, but I really understand what they mean now. It's the easiest, hardest thing you'll ever do. It was it's easy, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
At the same time,
it's like you've got to step out of your own way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And there's a lot of pressure as well. And I look at it from back to the surfing analogy. You've got this whole cast and crew in front of you. You've got a camera in front of you. The money is ticking over. The pressure is on. If you haven't done your homework, it's going to be clear.
Well, that's going to make it difficult. Yeah.
It's going to be clear that you haven't done your homework.
Yeah.
But when you've done your homework and you deliver and they're happy.
Oh, yeah, that's fun then.
Yeah, I felt absolutely elated doing it. I'm addicted to it. I'm like,
when do we get to see it? Yeah, when do we get to see?
I think it's out in April.
Okay.
So the end of this month, or I can't overquote that. I haven't talked to Maria about it. But it's coming out soon. I've tried to encourage her to enter it into Made in the West. Can't guarantee, like, even though I run Made in the West, I can't guarantee you'll get in.
Can't guarantee.
Well, no, it happens
no,
though.
No, it's good. It's good. You got to be objective, like.
Well, I've had people because I was at a pub once and someone was shouting me drinks, and I'm like, oh no, it's my round, because you go to a pub like I run into Amelia at a pub. I go, hey, do you want a drink, Amelia? You go, yeah, sure, and then you go, oh, I'm going to stay for another one. Do you want one?
Yeah, that's what you do.
And you do rounds. But I realised that they'd done 3 rounds. I'm like, no,
I'll get it.
I'll get it. And they're like, no. And then I realised what was happening. I'm like, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't. I don't have. If I did have that power, I wouldn't do it. And I don't have that. I've deliberately separated those powers so that can't happen.
Yeah.
It's a democratic process.
Yeah.
The only sway that I would have is at the bottom end of the films where I have to decide whether a film's in or out at the very end.
Yeah.
So there's only 2 films that I may have like a 10% sway on.
Yeah, but it's your thing. You've started it. You created it. So that,
Yeah, I know.
You should have some sway in it.
Well, I've entered Made in the West 10 times and I've only gotten in 4.
Yeah, well, exactly. There you go then. Yeah.
I do enter my own festival, but it goes through the same process that every other film goes through.
Yeah.
If it doesn't meet the mark, it doesn't meet the mark, and if it doesn't get selected, it doesn't get selected. It's just, it's just that simple. But I've looked at her. Hey Maria, if you're listening, I've looked at your rushes on this, and I think you've got a real 90% chance. You've got a red hot shot. You should totally enter it in Made in the West.
I'm gonna have to enter something in, I think.
You should.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
Oh wow.
happening a lot tonight.
That is. Don't worry, everyone does it. Like the record is 8 seconds. So someone came in 8 seconds of the podcast. Hello and welcome to the show. Shit, sorry. You haven't done it that bad. You're doing the side knocks.
I was doing delicate.
You're doing the side
knocks. It
knocks.
was subtle.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Everyone does the mic bump. But you've got other things that are on the burn as well. I was looking on your IMDb. You had Get a Life, All Right.
Oh yeah.
Already? No, All Right.
Well, all right. So so that's by Joy Hopwood. Shout out to Joy. Hello. So she.
I know Joy.
Oh, you know Joy. Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
she's in Operation Kung Flu.
Yes, that's right. I saw a post of her. Lovely. Yeah. So she's a sweetheart. So another wonderful creative who does everything. So yeah, she wrote that one, and she even wrote like songs that were in it, and directed it and everything.
Another ridiculously talented
person. Yeah. And so kind too. Really,
she's
just
very lovely.
So generous and kind. And anyway, so that one was really fun. I played a supporting role. It was I played a stylist who sort of worked with these with the main characters. So I wasn't part of the main storyline, but I've got a few little comedic moments which were really fun.
Yeah, cool. But let's just go through a bit more of your resume.
Let's go through.
Yeah. And so you're in Friends and Strangers.
Oh, that's a really exciting one. So Friends and Strangers was by James Vaughan, and recently, so they it's a really fascinating film. It's so unusual. It's not available yet, but I've seen bits and pieces of it. They put it into the International Film Festival in Rotterdam, and it it didn't win, but it was highly regarded. It got some amazing reviews, and it just recently got into I have to remember the exact name, but the Museum of Modern Art in New York. It's being shown there at some new director's film thing. So
yeah, wow.
It's a really
that sounds really artsy.
It's a really arty film, and I'm hoping maybe once it gets some interest overseas, maybe then finally Australia will notice it, because I think he really deserves it. He did such an amazing job on it. It's so unusual.
Australia's an interesting beast, though. It really is. If you look at our actor ratio and our arts ratio, we're everywhere, right? But we're not in Australia. We're everywhere except for here.
I know.
So yeah, but here's the thing. I've got a little bit of a prediction. Because of COVID, a lot of films are coming over to Australia. In particular, the Gold Coast, Western Sydney, and Western Melbourne.
Yeah.
So in the next 5 years, there's going to be an influx of money coming towards here, where we've got an opportunity to be actors, directors, assistants, set designers, you name it. There's a whole bunch of work coming. What I would like to see, and I was listening to an interview with Brian Brown on WSFM, and he pointed out a really good point. If we go and grab this money and just call it a day, then we're not solidifying our own industry.
Yeah.
So we need to. I'd like to put that energy out there. That let's go and do this work. Let's take this foreign money, but let's understand that we need to be making Australian content. We need to have more content on Netflix. We need more content on Stan. It is there.
It's there, but
But it's loosely there, and I'd like to see it solidify more. I do a lot of research into this, especially through Made in the West. The artist ratio in Western Sydney is 1 in 4. 1 in 4 people in Western Sydney are an artist.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's like rappers, musicians, actors, painters, you name it, dancers. There's so many people doing this sort of thing. And I think it's an absolute shame to let that flame burn out, or burn out in a rush.
Yeah.
And we need to do a bit of a better approach to this. And I think the structures are there. People like me and yourself, we're out here making web series.
Yeah.
And we're making movies. We're working on features. And I can just see this renaissance happening for Australian film.
Nice.
But I think it's coming. If we just keep
it going.
If we keep it going, let's think beyond 5 years. Let's think about 15 years. and then I think we can really do something. I think we can do something beyond Home and Away and Neighbours.
That's what I was going to say. I'm glad you said that because, in particular, Home and Away and Neighbours, I don't know how much money goes into them per year or whatever, but like everyone I speak to, I said, "Do you watch it?" I go, "Oh no, I don't watch it." And I'm not like, who is watching it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Like I know I think these people in the UK like to watch it, but
They do Neighbours.
I just feel like they've got whole studios to get dedicated just to filming these shows that I don't know. They just feel so outdated. They don't even reflect Australian life.
No,
like
they don't. I don't think
it's
so.
just
and I
strange.
think that there's more content to be made.
Yeah.
And there's more stories out there that haven't been tapped into yet. And I'd like to see that happen. Like, I remember making my first short film, man. I thought it was the duck's nuts, man. I thought it was fantastic. But in contrast to films I've made recently, that was a horrible film.
What
it was terrible.
it? What did you do?
Oh, it was a UFO film that I'd made. Was one of my first. And then the other one was a sci-fi that I did called Colonel. I deliberately made the dialogue confusing, but that was actually quite clever. I was very clever with that film. But then I started making stuff like Pushing the Envelope, which is I made this gangster film of Western Sydney gangsters.
Oh yeah.
Where there was a matriarch named Auntie, and she was running a drug operation, and someone tried.
Good.
Yeah, it was about this guy that he's trying to impress a girl, and he's a botanist at university that's growing.
That's impressive.
And he's growing his weed in the basement. And he's trying to sell the weed, and then he ends up in a whole series of unfortunate events trying to sell the weed.
Right.
He goes to this drug dealer's house to try and sell it, and then someone tries to rob it, and then they have to capture the guy. They take it back to the mob boss, and then they put him in the pit. That's actually one of the first acting roles I had. I had to throw a stuntman into a pit.
Okay, so you have started. You started earlier.
I did, but I'm always a henchman.
Yeah.
I'm a henchman or a bogan. I do a bogan really well.
If you could play any role, like what would you be like ideal role?
Oh, bad guy. I love being the bad guy. I have a bit of an autographic memory, and thanks Siri. Thank you.
Not talking
Thank you.
to
You've been
you.
listening to our podcast
God.
this whole time. No, definitely the bad guy. I love playing bad guys. I love writing for bad guys. I don't know. I guess that's that metal gene in me that likes to do the Halloween side of things.
Yeah.
I like the darker side of things. Yeah, definitely. Playing that bad guy in that film was cool, but I'd like to be more sinister than that.
Yeah, because did that have kind of a comedic tone to it? I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, no, it's totally like I would describe it as a Hong Kong kung fu comedy action.
Okay.
It's done in that style.
That's very specific style.
Yeah. No, if you bring all those things together and you.
No, I'm seeing it. It was good. It was good.
So the fight scenes are pretty cool, but they're all the dialogues, comedy. The textures are comedic. The sounds are comedic. It's definitely a movie that's made to point towards problems with racism, but it's done in a comedic way, and I think that's a smart way to do it. We got to have a laugh at ourselves.
Yeah,
and I think that's a good thing. But yeah, I'd like to be in a film where I get to play a sinister bad guy in a gangster film. That would make me happy.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. But what else have we got going though? You had another one, Black Widow.
Oh, that's voiceover work. So I can't even remember how it happened, to be honest. I think if I'm correct, I think it was because I used to. Well, sometimes I still do Twitch streaming. I'll play games on Twitch, and just like one of my viewers, we were just chatting and everything, and he's like, "Oh, like I do stop animation of like Avengers, like fan fiction," and he's just like, "Oh, will you voice my Black Widow character?" So I'm just like, yeah, sure. So I got to do that.
That's really
for
cool.
him, and like, and so it's on YouTube. He has a fairly large following. Like he puts a lot of work. He has like proper action figures of each character, and he stop animates all these fight sequences.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. He spends like months making them, and so he's lovely. He's Spanish, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
far out.
Yeah.
So gaming. You're into gaming.
Yeah. Well, I don't get as much time to do it these days as I'd like, but for a while there, my husband and I were in like a Counter-Strike team, and we would play every weekend, and we would train and stuff like that.
Show up to practice and then go out and go on missions.
Pretty much, yeah. And
so envious. I can't play games. Well, I can, but I don't.
Would you get too addicted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get, because you get that feeling of reward from playing games.
Yeah.
You get a really good feeling of reward, and I do so much. I know me, and that's all I would do.
One game I really get addicted to is so I play Beat Saber in the VR headset.
Oh wow!
And have you ever tried it?
No.
Oh, you have to. It's so much fun. Like, you want to get good arms. That's all you need. But I get addicted to it. But the thing is, it's a very physical game. So I'm like exhausted. Like, my arms are like burning, and I'm just like, just one more song. And I'm like, ow, 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 ow. It's so much fun. I love it.
Yeah, I look. I'm a child of the '90s, and I would play stuff like, 007 on 64.
Oh yeah. No, I was always Odd Job, and I'd hide in the toilets with the gold.
I was
knife.
always Odd Job.
Yeah.
I was always Odd Job up top. Yeah, my friends hated me.
My brother used to get so mad.
They used to get so mad at me
Like,
because
you're cheating.
Odd Job was good because he was
The
shorter.
hitbox as well. Yeah.
And but I was so much of an asshole in that game. I would face a wall and play the golden gun multiplayer.
Yeah.
And I go get the golden gun, and I'll hunt you all down.
Because I used to play it, like, my brother was like always better than me, so he'd be like, he'd be the same thing. He'd like, you guys get the gun, and then and I'll come get you. And every time he would just do it, it was just like, oh.
Yeah, no, I'd recover the golden gun, go get some, but I would be cheeky. I'd let the golden gun there, go pick up armor, because once you pick up the golden gun, you can't pick up armor.
Oh yeah.
So I go pick up the armor and then go get the gun.
What else did you play? Did you play Perfect Dark?
Oh my
It was Perfect
god!
Dark. I know.
That was such a good game.
I know.
So many hours.
Remember, what was it, like the laptop gun, and then you could set it up, and then you could watch like other areas. Oh, it was so good.
It was so far ahead of its time, that game.
Yeah,
it really
I
was.
think they need to do like a remake.
It was the same engine. It was the same
Like-
engine though that they used for 007.
Yeah, it was very similar.
Yeah, it's the same
So I
engine.
remember my favorite thing about that game was you could blow up and like explode the walls. So my brother and I would spend like hours making tunnels between like everything, and like, oh, it was so much fun.
Oh look, I had so many cheeky cheats that I would do in multiplayer. Like here's one for you for 007. If you throw a proximity mine at glass, then smash the glass, it makes the mine disappear, but it's still there.
Oh, but it still explodes. Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
people just blow up and they don't know why.
That is so
I never tell them.
sneaky.
I never tell why.
Like, I just blew up. What happened? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Or I'd pick up the armor, stand there looking at the armor. No one shows up. Throw a proximity mine on the armor and
Oh
fuck
yeah, that's
off.
a good one. Yeah. Oh, armor, great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was really, really gnarly at that. But we had a championship at a New Year's Eve party, and I'd come out of retirement. This is the last time I played computer games. It was about 10 years ago, and we did a tournament of GoldenEye, and my mate, he'd never beaten me, but he'd beaten me like 2 times. But then we played another 3 games, and I beat him the next 3 games. And after that, I realised he's going to get me. So I'm like, I now retire.
Yeah. I'm done.
I retire again. He's like, no.
Finish on a high.
No. I retire. I come out of retirement. You said you were going to beat me, and you didn't beat me.
And we're done.
And we're done.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, we'll keep going. And we'll keep going.
It'll just totally keep going. But yeah, doing all of those missions on 007 secret, because you had the different skill levels. Oh my god, hours.
Yeah,
hours.
I have to say I didn't do the mission thing much. It was more the multiplayer. Yeah.
But I was into PC games as well, so I did a lot of Doom 2. And I was doing multiplayer. I think I was one of the first people on the internet, actually.
Probably, yeah.
Doing multiplayer Duke Nukem.
I remember like still sneaking into my parents' like computer room and like doing the dial-up internet and like trying to get onto MSN. Like it's like
null modems.
Because I'd go late at night, like because I wasn't supposed to use it, and I'd go onto it at like 10 or 11 and like trying to sneak on to like chat to my friends.
That was a big thing. MSN. That was amazing.
It was my life.
That was that was a connection to the world.
Yeah, I didn't think we ever should have gone past that. Like MSN was enough, and
but it all changed. It's all gone crazy now.
It's too much now.
Now it's like we don't even know what it is now.
It's overwhelming. I have to delete the apps off my phone because I'll just be like.
I've hopped onto Signal now. Someone's Signal. So Signal is encrypted messaging. So they can't collect analytics to advertise to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
because
good.
like even talking, like, I mean, what showed up before, just talking, you know.
It's creepy, right?
It's pretty creepy. Like, and I was talking about Mercedes Benz.
Oh, and then you get Mercedes
Then
ads.
ads showing up.
Do you know, like, okay, the weirdest one happened to me. Like, I've been reading a book called it's a really interesting book called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. It's about negotiating. It's fascinating. But I didn't like purchase it through Amazon or anything like that. I think I just bought it in a shop even. I can't remember. Anyway, I started getting these things on Instagram, like advertisements of Chris Voss, and I'm like, how the fuck does it know that I'm reading that? Like, it must have heard me talking about it.
Because you didn't type it right.
No.
So it must hear you.
Yeah, it was so creepy.
Yeah, they call it third-party listening.
I don't like it.
And I don't like that either. But the thing that really bugs me about it is the political bullshit that's out there. Like, because I'm in the arts industry and I'm an ex-soldier, I have a myriad of different friends from the political spectrum. People that are very far right, people very far left. I'm a centrist. I think it's all fucked, and I think it's broken, and we need to rebuild it. I don't know how to. I don't have the answer to that, but I know that it's broken, and I sit in the middle. Like, should women have reproductive rights? Totally, man. That's their business. Should we be able to bear arms? I'm like, yeah, I believe in that as well. If you know how to use them, you've got a license, why not? So those two things are politically conflicting immediately, right? But I'm a centrist, and I realise that some of my friends, when elections are on, are getting different feeds to me.
Well, yeah, that's like, did you watch The Social Dilemma?
Yeah.
And it shows how it's actually making us more... you know, we all see a whole lot of the same things, so we're like, well, this is what's happening. How do you not know this? Like, you know, it's like
it creates these echo chambers. And I had some mates that I put up memes that are like left wing in nature or right wing in nature. Do you know why I post a meme? Because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I don't do it politically. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And during elections, I've had some of my mates that that I've known for years just attack me publicly.
Is this Australian elections? Or?
Yeah, Australian elections. Yeah. And I had people, and this is on the left and right of those spectrums too. I've had people of the left wing persuasion attack me as well. I'm like, I don't actually care about any of this.
Yeah, it's just a joke.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just a
why
joke.
I think it's really important, like, and I have to remind myself of this too. It's really easy to look on your phone and see an article and look at a post and see a hashtag and be like, oh, all women are being downtrodden. Oh, well, I'm a woman, but my life is terrible. Oh, and it's like, then you actually look around and you're like, oh, that guy just held the door for me. Oh, you know, that guy just helped me with my shopping bag. Oh, he's not staring at my clothes. He just smiled and said good morning. So it's really easy to like start to see everything like every man is a creep.
Well, there's
you know, but they're not.
There's a scientific term for this though, and it's called your brain goes through outrage. So they've done studies about the human brain about different neurons that fire in your brain, right? So obviously things that are of a sexual attraction to you are going to fire things in your brain. You're like, oh, that's attractive, and I'm drawn to that. But they found that things of outrage rank higher in your brain than that. So if you saw, for instance, a car accident happen, and then you watched a stranger walk into that car and then take everyone's wallet and run away, you'd be outraged, right?
Yeah.
You'd be like, how dare you do that? Stop that, man, right? So that emotion is higher ranked in your brain than sex. So when you're looking at outrage like police brutality or people's rights being misused and these sort of things, your brain goes, oh, that fucking asshole, that bastard, and then all of a sudden you're outraged.
And then you go on to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and then there's like all these other people going, hashtag,
and you're in an outrage chamber. And once you're in an outrage chamber, all of a sudden things are magnified, they're blown out of proportion, and no one can take a joke.
Yeah. I've started, when I see someone like don't get me wrong, I know people can share their opinions and that's up to them, but personally for me, let's say I had an issue with something, which generally I don't, but the last thing I would do is go on Facebook and go, well, today I was waiting in the line at grocery shop and a man pushed past me and brushed my bottom. and therefore all men are pigs. Like I wouldn't put that on.
I love your
Facebook.
Karen impersonation, by the way. That's a good
it.
Karen
Yeah,
impersonation.
that's how she sounds like.
She's British.
And I moved to Australia from Britain.
Yeah, I worry about those things. Having political sway, like the commercialisation of things. If I start talking about Back to the Future and you try to sell me a Back to the Future shirt, fair enough. I'll buy it, I won't buy it, whatever. But when you start trying to sway people's opinions,
Yeah, that's scary.
that's scary stuff, because that means then you got someone behind the controls going, well, we need to move public thoughts towards this so that we can accomplish this. And I think that's dangerous. That's really dangerous.
I agree.
And the Social Dilemma puts it out really well. They don't let their kids hold on to phones. They go, no way.
Yeah, I know, because they know how there's so much shit we're seeing. Like, I have to say, I have very minimal apps on my phone, and I use it for posting things about my work and contacting my friends and a few meditation apps. And otherwise, I try to just keep it away.
Yeah, no, I just do all of our social media business stuff on there. So, like, the Pagey Train, Made in the West, Still Searching Productions, and then I wish everyone happy birthday, and that's about the
That's
end.
about it, yeah. And sometimes you don't even wish them happy birthday, like.
But I do. I'm a terrible scroller. Do you get the analytics off your phone? It tells you how much you've been watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah,
It's scary for
I've
me.
got a thing set up on mine now. So if I use any social media app for more than 15 minutes, it locks it down and it says you've used your time limit for today.
Wow, that's
do you
really
wanna
good.
Use more? But then the thing is, it has a button that says 15 more minutes, and I end up going, well,
15
okay.
minutes. It's only 15 minutes. It's only 15
more.
minutes,
And then,
right?
Yeah, before you know it.
Well, it wants your attention, right? It's all about attention.
Yeah.
It's all about attention.
Yeah.
And the irony is we're in an industry that's about getting people's attention. But I think our objectives are different.
Yeah, I just want them to either like smile or laugh or feel like something for my character, but I don't want them to go and buy anything or like vote for anything. I
just want them to be entertained, man.
Yeah,
I just want to
exactly.
entertain people. I'm
Yeah.
a showman. I want to entertain people.
Exactly, because I remember what it was like working 9 to 5 in an office job, and you come home and you're like, oh, babe, what should we do? Do you want to get a pizza and see there's a good movie on? And like that's like everybody loves doing that. Like,
Totally. Absolutely. If I can't go to the cinema, I'll bring the cinema to me.
yeah.
For sure. But most people now, they don't like. I was reading a study the other day. I wasn't reading a study. I watched a little documentary.
Yeah, we don't read now.
I don't read
we
anything.
watch things.
I was watching this thing the other day. I did read the comments in there though. No, I was looking at this thing the other day about how most of the younger generation don't even give a shit about big TVs, big screens. It's all about the screen in front of them.
All here. Yeah.
And I think earlier generations we were about flipping books, right? So you flip a page.
Yeah.
And now they even call it a tablet, right? And this is the strange thing. We've gone back to the Bronze Age in a really weird way because we now scroll.
Yeah.
Like, it's called a scroll.
Yeah.
And a tablet.
Yeah.
So we're back to the Stone Age, man.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
Stone Age
interesting.
thinking if you think about it. We even use the same terminology. Our brains are changing in how we operate with this technology.
Yeah, one thing a trend I've noticed, which I don't know why, but it really annoys me, is like I'll see a teen and they'll be out shopping with their mum, or maybe they're just with their friends, and they'll all have their earphones in, so they're all together shopping, and then they're I don't know, they're listening to music or something, and then they'll come up to the counter and they'll buy their whatever they're buying, and they just keep the headphones in, and I'm like, how can you be aware of what's going on around you? How can you connect to the
how can
person
you be
you're
spatially
talking
aware?
to? How can you have respect for like your mother or your father that you're with if you're just listening to some? I don't know. I think that's too far, like, honestly, for me. But
Although I do enjoy being I walk a hypocritical line with this. I enjoy being plugged in. I'm
Like,
plugged in all the
if you're
time.
on your own, sweet, go for it. It's fine. But I'm talking like if you're spending. Imagine if I was sitting here right now. Oh, I do have headphones on. But imagine if I was listening to like some music in my headphones while you're talking to me, and I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
That
Russ.
is a little
Great.
bit crazy, yeah.
Yeah, just hashtag me. It's just.
Hashtag no filter.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I walk around with a one earpiece in. I'm usually listening to audiobooks or podcasts. But I when on my phone though, if I'm talking to someone, I go, oh.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
I switch off.
Yeah.
I unplug.
Exactly, but I see them. They don't do it because I can hear it going.
But I do enjoy the cyborg nature of it, though. I must say, I do. I'm like, I'm so fucking connected. It's amazing.
Would you ever get one of the microchips?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I'll get a chip. We probably already got it. We don't even know. If you've ever handled a 20-cent piece, you're already chipped. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Look, but I think we're at the end of our show.
Yes.
I think we made it to the end. We made it.
We made it.
We made
Yay.
it. But look, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate your work. You're doing things out there, and you're about to like do more things. So I'm like, get out there and keep doing them.
Thank you.
And I've really enjoyed this interview. I've really had a good time.
Me too. Yeah, it's been great. Thanks, Ross.
All right. And so thank you. And you've been watching The Pagey Train. Don't forget, you can check us out on iTunes, Spotify, even on iHeartRadio. And, of course, you can find us on YouTube. That's another mic knock. That's the latest mic knock we've ever had. But you can find us on YouTube. And, hey, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're really enjoying the show, hit the little notifications button right here. You've been watching The Pagey Train, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
I think that was the most interesting outro I've done.
I liked it. It
was
was
good.
good.
That was good.
I'm like, where can I subscribe?
Yeah. It's around here somewhere.
Wait, what are you pointing at?